today's class with dealing with some yes, the meeting is on recording now. We are going to start today's class with some few more signals which are going to be discussed, and along with that we are going to solve few more problems, and later on we are going to wind up the class. Okay, so from the next class onwards, as I'm seeing here, only few people have logged in, 38 have logged in, and from the next class, that's tomorrow, we are going to have the properties of systems. Okay, so I'll be sending you the study material of properties of systems. So go through it once. It would be better that you come prepared to the class. If you go through the material and you'll be knowing some concepts of it, then it would be easy for me to solve problems related to it. For example, you will be given a signal, and based on the properties, you are going to identify whether the signal would be a linear signal, or a linearity concept or a linearity property is applied to that signal, or you are going to have the causal nature of it. Next, you are going to have the stability nature of the signal, and so on. So few more properties we will be discussing as we complete today's class with some numerical problems. Okay, as soon as I find certain numerical problems which is already there in the previous year question papers, I'll be solving it by myself, and I'll be setting you the solutions as soon as possible. Okay, so with this note, I would like to start today's session with the few more signals which needs to be discussed, and we'll start with some few properties which I wanted to highlight in the last class itself. So we will have some additional properties that needs to be discussed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we wanted to discuss the additional properties that are applicable to the impulse function and also the unit step function. Okay. So the additional properties goes this way. So it is just the differentiation and integration nature of it. Additional properties. So that is delta of t minus t naught. Okay, so t minus t naught. So is it a right shifted or a left shifted signal? Delta of t, if I want to write it like this, delta of t. Okay, so t would be at 0. Okay, so now I need to write delta of t minus t naught. Okay, it is a delayed signal first of all, with t naught not equal to 0 there. Okay, so how you are going to write the signal delta of t minus t naught? Yes, is it right shifted or left shifted?
Right shifted.
Exactly. So at t naught, so this is t naught there, so this is t. Okay, so the time instant is along the x-axis, and t naught would be shifted towards the right by some units, say t naught. Okay, so how you can find with given unit step function is, once you differentiate the unit step function, you will be getting the delta function. That is, the delta function would be found. Okay, so sorry, this is not the, that based on the, this is the impulse function there, impulse function, and this is the unit step function. Okay, so if you differentiate the unit step function, okay, unit steps function or signal, okay, you are going to get the impulse function there. Okay, similarly, if you differentiate the ramp function, you are going to get ramp. If you apply, okay, so if you apply the differentiator operator there, you are going to get the unit step signal there. Okay, so you are going to get the unit step signal. Okay, so this is one property that you want to remember. Next, if I want to integrate, okay, so if I want to integrate, that would be from minus infinity to t. Okay, so delta of tau minus tau naught d tau. Okay, so you are going to integrate it, so that would be equal to 1 for t greater than t naught or tau naught, whatever the values that you are going to give, and 0 for t less than tau naught. Okay, so any value which you are going to get here, so tau may be any other variable which is there. Next, minus infinity to plus infinity delta of a t minus t naught dt, that would be equal to 1 divided by mod a delta, that is integral minus infinity to plus infinity delta of t minus t naught by a dt. Okay, so these are the identities. This is the second identity, this one is the third identity that you want to remember that. So few problems, okay, so few problems you can make use of certain identities and you can certainly solve these problems which will be there. Okay, so any given function, say x of t, okay, continuous time function, if you multiply with the unit impulse function, as I already told you, delta of t, so it would be equal to x of 0 into delta of 0. Okay, so x of t, just a moment. Yes, so x of t into delta of t, that would be equal to x of 0 and to delta of 0 there, right? So whatever the value of x of 0 that is there, so we know that delta of 0 that would be equal to 1. So given delta of 0 equal to 1, you are going to find out what is x of 0. Okay, so any other value that has been given, x of t, that is given there, so you are going to find out its value at a t equals 0 there. Okay, so that's how you are going to find out. So moving on to the next signals, as I already told you, you will be having the exponential signal there. Exponential signal. Okay, so exponential signals are generally you will be having the exponential growth or you have the exponential decay there, right? So given x of t, okay, so you will be having e power at as the function or the exponential signal that is there. So any constant, let me say b or a or k, that is there, it acts as an amplitude. Okay, so it acts as an amplitude. For example, we have 2 power e power 2 into e power 3t there, right? So 2 here acts as an amplitude at t is equal to 0. When you give t is equal to 0, you are going to get a magnitude that is equal to 2 there. Okay, so this acts as an amplitude, and this one a here, which is the parameter, for example e power 2t 3t 4t, whatever the values that you are going to give. So these b and small a, okay, b and small a are said to be the real parameters. Okay, so real parameters of x of t, that is the exponential signal. Okay, so now as I told you, the parameter b, which is the amplitude, so once if I need to plot the signal there, so x of t, okay, so now I need to say that a less than 0. Okay, so for a less than 0, what it is a decaying exponential. Okay, if you have observed it, decaying exponential. Okay, so how it would be like, so at t is equal to 0, this is the value of t. As I proceed towards t greater than 0, so this is the scale where you will be having t greater than 0. So at t is equal to 0, you are going to have a signal like this. Okay, so this is the magnitude at t is equal to 0. This is the amplitude, which is b. Okay, so the amplitude from t is equal to 0 to the value which is there, that is at t is equal to 0 x of t. So the parameter b is the amplitude of the signal, that is x of t. Okay, so the x of t where a is less than 0 and certainly where t is greater than or equal to 0 there. So what type of signal it would be? You will be having the exponential decaying function. So you are going to have a decay there. So what the signal would look like is x of t, that is b, generally the magnitude, e power minus at. Okay, so where a is less than 0, you will be having the value which is t less than 0, like generally you will be having -2, -3, -4, -5 and so on. You are going to have any such values which have been listed there. For example, it would be 4 e power minus 5t. Okay, so any such values which have been listed out, so that forms the exponential decay function. Okay, so very important one. So you have one more thing called as the exponential growth. Okay, so growing exponential. So both are two different entities. Only parameter that has been varied here is the power. Okay, so anyone who wants to find out, okay, so how you are going to find out whether it's a growing exponential or a decay? From the graph it would be quite clear. So depending on the x of t, okay, so x of t or x of n, any signal that has been given there either in discrete domain or in continuous time domain, so it would be better that you identify it and make a thing like you can conclude it whether you can have the decaying exponential or the growth exponential. So growth exponential. Okay, now, so when I talk about growth exponential, as I already told you, so that is a will be greater than 0 and t will be greater than or equal to 0 there. So you will be having an exponential increase like this. So this is b. Okay, so this is b. You are going to have x of t. So for the growth exponential where a is greater than 0 and t would be greater than or equal to 0 there. So t here also it is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so now if I want to understand the functions which are being there, so x of t a greater than 0. Okay, so x of t would be equal to b times e power at. Okay, so this is how you are going to call it as the growth exponential signal or growing exponential signal. So next one you are going to find it out as decaying exponential signal there. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I think everyone is quite aware with this sinusoidal signal. Okay, sinusoidal signal there, very clear. Yes, is Nivedita there? Nivedita H. Unmute yourself and do let me know if you are there. Yeah, Nisarga, are you there? Jeevan? Jeevan, are you in the meeting? Yes, Arvinda? Yes, Arvind, can you tell me, these two are generally called as the sine amplitude here? Can you tell me what is the amplitude? Yes. So now we have the angular frequency as omega. Omega would be 2 pi, okay, divided by t, okay. So where t is the fundamental period and omega, which is expressed in radians per second, okay. It is expressed in radians per second. So t would be 2 pi divided by omega there. Fine. So now we can follow the same step what we did in the periodic signal there, right? So x of t plus t. Okay, so where we are going to get y of t, okay, so here I have taken it as y of t, that would be equal to y of t plus t. Okay, so I am doing it for the sine signal and it would be the same for the cosine one also. Okay, so sine of 2 pi plus, that comes to the first quadrant there. Okay, so that is what you are going to get there once you are substituting the value of t, that would be equal to 2 pi divided by omega. Okay, so omega naught, you can generally say that, so t naught, so which is the fundamental time period. So how we are going to define the fundamental time period? So the fundamental time period is the one that is having the smallest value for which the wave or generally any such signal is said to be repetitive in nature. Okay, so for the small is said to be repetitive in nature. Okay, this is what the time period is all about. So if I write it like this, so t somewhat around 20 milliseconds. Okay, so for next one, that would be from the origin, that is from the reference, it is t is equal to 40 milliseconds there. Okay, so 40 milliseconds, how do I need to write it? 2 into 20 milliseconds there, right? So 2 here forms the second cycle. Okay, so it is the integer that has been represented. I can certainly say it as a positive integer. So for that positive integer, if you multiply the fundamental time period, okay, 20 milliseconds would be the fundamental time period that is there. So if you multiply the fundamental time period, you are going to get the next set of waves, like the second cycle, fifth cycle, seventh cycle, and so on. Whatever the values that you are going to give, you are going to get the fundamental time period as 20 milliseconds only. So for each instant, okay, so I repeat, this is one of the important things that you need to remember. So for each cycle, you will be having the fundamental time period that is said to be repetitive. I repeat, it is said to be, and then only you can call it to be a periodic signal. Okay, so we can certainly prove that y of t, that would be equal to y of t plus t. Okay, so where t would be equal to 2 pi divided by omega. Okay, so next one, we are going to have the pulse signals, very important in case of low power electronic systems. Okay, low power electronic systems, or generally in your basic electronics. So you will be having the pulse signals which are there, and you would have generally appreciated in op-amps and linear ICs, okay, where you are going to operate those op-amps and linear ICs in the range of plus 5 volts, okay, 5 volts plus 10 volts, okay. So maximum you can reach up to 20 to 30 volts for an op-amp there, okay. So you can reach up to this point depending on the regulator that you are going to use or the IC that you are going to use there. So one such signal is the rectangular signal there. Okay, so one such signal is the rectangular signal that is there. I can call this one to be RECT of t. Okay, so now it has been quite clear. You are going to have the rectangular signal. Okay, so the rectangular signal can be written like this. So you are going to have it like this. Okay, so mathematically how you are going to express the rectangular signal is, so this is equal to 1. Okay, so where t under mod be less than 0.5. Okay, 0 elsewhere. Yes, so mathematically you are going to write it like this. So t mod t. Okay, so those who don't know the fundamentals of mathematics, so t is less than 0.5. Okay, so it is going to be having 1. This is the magnitude, that is equal to 1. Okay, so next you are going to have minus t less than 0.5 there. Okay, so this is 0.5. So if I need to change the sign, so that is for t greater than 0.5 with a negative sign. Okay, so that would be equal to 1 there. So I just change the sign there. So if I multiply or change the sign with respect to two things that has been here, okay, two variables or two operators that are being there, so I need to change the sign there. Okay, so rectangular of t. Okay, next is the triangular signal. Triangular signal. Okay, so how do I write the triangular signal? I think we had done it in the even and the odd signals. Okay, and many of the operations that are being performed on signals. So we had written this signal. This is one of the most used signal there. That is the triangulating signal or the triangular signal there. Okay. Yes. So can anyone make an attempt to write the mathematical model or mathematical equation associated? It is 0 elsewhere. Okay, 0 elsewhere. So how we can write it? Anyone can unmute themselves and do let me know how I can write the triangular signal mathematically. So this magnitude would be equal to 1 generally. Yeah. You can write this one to be yes 40 or equal to 1. Okay, so this is one thing where you are going to have 1 minus mod t. Okay, so this is mod t, 1 minus mod t. for t less than or equal to 1. Okay, yeah. Next one, what you are going to see here is the discrete version of it. Very important one, the discrete version of the pulse signal again. So the discrete version of the pulse signal x of n. Okay, so that is rectangular n divided by 2n. Okay, and the triangular function triangular n divided by capital N, where n generally represents the period for a discrete time signal. Okay, so rectangular n divided by 2n, that would be equal to 1 and 0 for mod n. Okay, for mod n less than or equal to n and 0 elsewhere. Okay, next, this is the rectangular function of n divided by n. Okay, now n divided by 2n, sorry, n divided by 2n. Okay, so now you can write this one to be value like this. Okay, this is minus n, this is plus n. Okay, so this is the n. Now how do you compute regarding the number of samples? How many samples are there? Nisarga? Is Tanu there? Tanu? Yes?
Sir, 7 samples are there.
Yeah, exactly. 7 samples are there. How you can write 7? Okay, so 2 into 3 plus 1. Okay, so now you can compare it with the standard equation 2n plus 1. So what is n here? The period of a discrete signal, that is the rectangular discrete signal, where you are going to get n to be equal to 3. Okay, so that is given by the general equation of number of samples is given by 2n plus 1. We are including the origin also. That is the reason why we are going to get it as 2n plus 1. Okay. Next, where you are going to get the triangular of n divided by n, that would be equal to 1 minus mod n divided by n and 0 elsewhere. Okay, and 0 elsewhere. Just a moment. Yes, sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, let me present now. Yes, so now we are going to have the triangular function. Okay, so it was given by 1 minus mod n by n, where mod n would be less than or equal to capital N. Okay, so now we are going to have the triangular function being expressed. Now look carefully how we are going to write the triangular function, where n is equal to 0. Okay, n is equal to 0, we are going to have 1. Okay, now let me take capital N to be equal to some value as some 2. Okay, so let me take it as 2. 1 minus 1 by 2, where n would be equal to a positive value 1 by 2. Okay, so what it is, when n is equal to 1, okay, you are going to get it somewhat like this. Okay, so next, when n is equal to 2, then okay, 1 minus 2 by 2, that is equal to 1 minus 1, that would be equal to 0. Okay, if you observe carefully here, this is 1 and this is 2, this is 0. Okay, we have taken n to be equal to 2 as an example. Okay, now similarly this is minus 1 and this would be minus 2. Okay, so you can see there it is a triangular sort of a function that you are going to get it in the continuous time domain. If I take the discrete values of it, then it would be the discrete time function which is going to be there. Okay, now x of n, that would be equal to triangular n divided by capital N. So it has samples. Okay, it has samples over minus n to plus n. Okay, so where n would be ranging from n to minus n. Okay, and the terminal sequence. Okay, the terminal means the final one where you are going to have x of n equals x of minus n, that would be equal to 0. Okay, so x of n equals x of minus n, that would be equal to 0. Okay, always. Okay, remember this one, it is one of the standard identities in case of the triangular function. Okay, do remember this forms one of the standard equation where you're going to apply it in your gate exams or any competitive exams which you're going to come across. For example, what would be like, they would be given like triangular of n divided by 6. Okay, so what is x of 6? Okay, you can write it to be 0 easily. Okay, so see to it that you are going to have certain things in mind. Okay, so no need to sketch the signal, no need to write it again, no need to write the standard form of the equation and then compute. Okay, so you can clearly write it comparing with the standard equation x of n. Okay, capital N, I repeat, it is not small n. X of n, that would be equal to x of minus n. Okay, so if they ask x of minus 6 also, that would be equal to 0 again. Okay, so these are one of the important things that you need to remember. Okay, any competitive exams, so short notes or a short formulae, that holds good. Okay, so it's not the major one which is going to trouble too much, as you are already done with the basics quite well for your gate preparation and all. So it would be better that short forms or whatever this, those things will matter in your gate exam. Okay, yeah, we are going to evaluate these integrals quickly and we are going to wind up. Evaluate the following integrals. Okay, first one, that is integral from minus 1 to 1 3 t squared plus 1, okay, delta of t dt. Okay, now remember this very carefully. Okay, we are going to evaluate the integral. Okay, this is the integral there. It is written as minus 1 to 1 3 t squared plus 1 times delta t dt. Okay, very careful. What is delta t? That is the impulse function. Okay, unit impulse function. I'll be clear. Unit impulse function. Okay, so this is the unit impulse function that is there. Okay, now very carefully if you observe, okay, so it is from minus 1 to 1. Okay, minus 1 to 1 if you are going to observe. Okay, so now where you are going to find delta t? At t is equal to 0. Okay, so at t is equal to 0, it is a multiplication operation that is being applied here. So at t is equal to 0, you are going to have delta t. Okay, delta t would be equal to 1 only at t is equal to 0, and 0 where t is not equal to 0 there, t not equal to 0. Okay, so now delta t is the unit impulse function that is going to be there. Okay, so now we are going to evaluate 3t squared plus 1, which is the continuous time signal, and it has been multiplied with delta of t. Okay, so you are going to find out x of 0 and delta of 0. Okay, so that is x of 0 itself. So how you are going to find out x of 0? So it's quite simple. 3 into 0 squared plus 1. The evaluation of integral is 1. Okay, so this is how you are going to find out the integral being evaluated. Okay, so this evaluation of integral is done by the shifting property of unit impulse function. Shifting property of unit impulse function. Unit impulse function. Unit impulse function. Okay, so next one what you are going to get here is the second problem, what you're going to solve, I'll leave it to you. Minus infinity to plus infinity, okay, t squared plus cos pi t, okay, times delta of t minus 1. I'll give you hint, okay, I'll give you hint. So delta of t minus 1, okay, so this is delta of, you can compare it with t minus t naught, that is there, and this is x of t. Okay, so now we can take the standard signal as minus infinity to plus infinity x of t delta of t minus t naught dt. Okay, that would be equal to what it would be? It would be x of t naught, okay, where t equals t naught and 0 elsewhere. Do you agree to this? Okay, so x of t naught, the x of t, where x of t is t squared plus cos pi t. Okay, so this you are going to evaluate at t naught. Okay, what's the value of t naught? That is equal to 1. Okay, so that's equal to 1. So 1 squared plus cos pi. Okay, so cos pi equals minus 1, that would be equal to 0. So this evaluation of integral, you can say it to be equal to 0. So delta of t minus 1, so this is at 1, so the pointer marks at the magnitude equal to 1, and this is delta of t minus 1. Okay, so if you solve it quite clearly, you will definitely come to know it. And the next one is minus infinity to plus infinity e power minus t delta of 2t minus 2. Okay, 2t minus 2. Okay, so I want to say an identity here. So it's an identity for the unit impulse function. If I've already said it, you can just revise it one more time. So that is delta of at. Okay, that would be equal to 1 by a delta of t, where a is greater than 0. Okay, so delta of at, that would be equal to 1 divided by a delta of t, where a is greater than 0. Okay, a slight modification in our delta function, 2 times t minus 1, okay, dt e power minus t, where x of t will be equal to e power minus t. Okay, so this takes a form, this is a and this is t minus 1. Okay, so now what you can generally find out is you can have e power minus t. Okay, so this delta function you can evaluate it according to this identity which is there. So this is a, okay, delta of 2 times t minus 1. Okay, so this is a and this is the value t that is going to be there. So that is 1 by 2 delta of this value. This is the value that is going to be there for t minus 1. Okay, so that is 1 by 2 integral minus infinity to plus infinity, 1 by 2, multiplying it 1 by 2 into, yeah, 1 by 2 into delta of t minus 1 dt. Okay, so now you are going to get 1 by 2 as the outside one, you can take it to be the magnitude there. So 1 by 2 minus infinity to plus infinity e power minus t delta of t minus 1 dt. Okay, so now 1 by 2 that is going to be there. So t value, okay, so t value e power minus t at t is equal to 1. Okay, so that would be 1 by 2 into e power minus t. Okay, so 1 divided by e power, well, yeah, you can find out the final result, 1 divided by 2, okay, into e power t. You can write it like this. Okay, so do you agree to this? This is the final answer that we are going to get at t is equal to 1. Okay, so at t is equal to 1, if you put it, so 1 divided by 2e there. Okay, so this is the final answer that you are going to get, 1 divided by 2e. Okay, so this is the final answer for the integral, how I have evaluated with respect to the time scaling of unit impulse function. Unit impulse function. Okay, so this is how you are going to evaluate, and you are going to find out the identity. Using the identity, you are going to find out the integral evaluation. Okay, so now I am going to give few problems. Okay, let me divide it. Okay, so now the first problem, that is integral 1 to 2 3t squared plus 1. Okay, delta of t dt. Okay, so you are going to evaluate this integral, so this will be done by Nisarga. Okay, next, second one, you have to compute the energy for each signal. Okay, energy for each signal. Fine. So x of t, that would be equal to e power 2t u of minus t. You have to compute the signal. So this would be for Tanu L Gowda. Okay. Next, this one would be for e power t minus 1 u of minus t, e power t minus 1. I repeat, e power minus t minus 1 u of minus t, that would be equal to x of t. So this would be for a month. Okay. So next, this one, x of t, that would be equal to e power 2t plus 1 u of 1 minus t. This would be for Bhumik. Okay, just inform them if they are not in the meeting, so they have to find out the solutions for these problems and do let me know. Okay, so with this note, yeah, okay, so with this note, I would like to end the session. Let me stop the recording.